This is the disability approval course, the third part of it for reconsideration. And down here, there's a video at the top that's going to sound a lot like me and go through these steps that are in here. But here is the strategy for your reconsideration appeal. Now, listen, if you are listening to this and using a disability representative, I sure hope you tune in and make sure you understand what needs to be done for a successful appeal so that you can make sure that the work is being done for you. Otherwise, how are you going to know? Okay. All right, so here's some of the key things to look for. You want to find fault, first of all, with Social Security and their decision. And one way to do that is if, for example, you have 5 doctors that you submitted at your initial application, and they requested medical records from all 5 of those, but they only received medical records from 3, and one of them was your primary care. The medical records weren't returned, and the other one was pain management. So they made a decision on your case on 3 out of the 5 doctors, 2 of which were really important. So that right there can give you the leverage for a good appeal. Okay. Going a little bit more deeper into this, granular into this, if they'll list in your decision letter the conditions that they understand that you have. And if you have a condition that is considered severe, and this is kind of a 2-part, it's like the second one on the list and the last one. If you have a condition that is considered severe, like you have severe chronic pain as a result of a degenerative disc disease versus a mild or moderate pain, or if you have severe depression versus mild or moderate, but they didn't recognize it as severe, that's another area that you want to make note of for your appeal. Next is limitations. We talk a lot about communicating limitations and journaling and bringing your top limitations to your doctors and getting them into your medical records. If this is not clearly communicated and they're not seeing this in the denial letter and it's not mentioned, like for example, I had somebody who was giving an example from yesterday. Individual was a welder, been a welder for at least 13 years, comes to mind, and is no longer able to do welding work because it doesn't allow him to sit. He actually has to go out into the field and perform welding, sometimes like climbing or bending or stooping. But so it's just the chronic pain and the degenerative disc disease that he has doesn't allow him to do it. So in that situation, if those limitations of his standing are not in the decision and not communicated, then that's something that should be pointed out, because this individual now can only, I forget exactly, it's like 15 or 20 minutes that it's limited to. So look for things that are inconsistent. And this goes back to all the way back to like the first segment of this that we did, how to do a successful initial application, and understanding how to communicate that you qualify for disability. If you miss that part and you're going through the application and you're communicating your conditions, like I've got degenerative disc disease, I've got a torn rotator cuff, I've got, a lot of headaches, you're just stating your conditions, this isn't going to work because you don't understand what you need to communicate to start with. Okay, I might sound a little annoyed, but I continue to find people that have access to this disability approval course, and it's really the same information the fundamentals that we use to represent disability cases. But of course, the difference in the results are significant because, we do it day in and day out, and some people like a book. They get it, and maybe 10% of them complete it. I don't know. But I'm going to hit pause on my rant so I can go on and finish this. Folks, I see the numbers are piling in here, which is wonderful. And if you missed the beginning of this, it's recorded and you can listen to the first part that I've covered, which is important. Few key parts left. You can file your appeal online in our disability approval course. There's a link here. You can click, go in and file it. If you're appealing it on your own, you're going to need the forms that are mentioned on the screen, SSA 561, 3441, and Form 827. They're all public forms that you can find out there on the internet. You need to fill those out successfully and get those in your appeal. But also the most important part of your appeal is going to be your statement. And the statement is based on the information that we have discussed in item 1, what you do not agree with, right? Remember, you're looking to find fault. So here in the course is a sample statement that you can use. And of course, modify this to your own case. And in other live events like this, we've taught you how to use free like Chat GPT tool to create a prompt where you could go in and say, I'm a Social Security disability applicant. I got denied. I'm at the reconsideration phase. I'm going to file my appeal. I'm looking for a statement for my appeal. And then to follow is a statement that I have. Would you please complete and correct the grammar? So you can modify this sample statement here with your limitations. Make sure they're correct and consistent with your medical records, and ask ChatGPT to cook you up something. And boom, there you go. You can do it all on your own, right? So that is the premise of an appeal. Look for something wrong. Understand that you have 60 days to submit your appeal. Understand the paperwork and a sample statement. So if you're having somebody do this for you, you want to ask them, well, what do you see? What's the premise of the appeal? That's item number 1. When do you think you can get the appeal in? Because again, you've got the 60 days. And can you provide me with the sample statement that you're going to put in the appeal so I can understand like the case theory, which is the sample statement? They're going to think that, you've been going to law school or something. So that's the reconsideration premise. In the disability approval course, there is a section for doctor support. This is in every one of the courses that shows you how to apply and waiting. And these are residual functional capacity report forms that you bring to your doctor for both physical and like brain health, mental issues, and fill them out. So if you have evidence like this, or you followed the other evidence directions in item 1B to get, support from coworkers or your prior boss, or we've had people that have written had letters written from organizations that they volunteer for. Information like that was not in your case file, that Social Security either said they received it, didn't put it in the file, or something happened. That's another reason that could cause your denial. So there's 2 major categories to answer the question. One is it wasn't clearly communicated, they didn't get it. Okay. And there are people that are legitimately qualified for disability, but they just don't get it at this initial application phase. So I've had an individual, I've shared this story before, John Green, was on Long Island, stage 4 cancer, life-threatening. He was denied at his initial application, had stage 4 all through the medical records, had his life expectancy in there. we worked on his reconsideration, and he passed away before he was approved. But so they had the information, they just didn't get it. So that's one. Two is missing information. There's information that's not in your case file. Those are the two important ones. And the third is it wasn't properly communicated. And that's like with the John Green situation. So those are some of the whys. So in preparation of this, and you may not be able to see this because it's a little fuzzy, I'll blow it up, but here's the thing that I want to go through is 14% did not take action at the reconsideration. And it shakes down all these numbers right here. But the key thing is the numbers are low. And it's like if you definitely, I encourage people, just trying to gather my words and think of the best way to say this, is just to keep moving forward, like the thumbnail, the first graphic that we showed, because the percentages here are low at this level. And it doesn't mean that you have a bad case. So I encourage you not to be the 14% that just don't take action. Rather, you're doing this, I fully expect, because you've been a hardworking individual, you have a sickness or an injury, and you just can't work anymore. And this is the game that we're playing. Okay. I want to see if I was on topic with answering your question, David. Yeah, no, maybe.
It is relevant, and maybe this person is also concerned about the timing. Should it be immediately?
What do you think the immediately is? Like appeal immediately?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have 60 days. I don't see any reason to wait 60 days. I would encourage you to get it done as soon as possible. Those directions that I showed you, I don't know what it would take for somebody to do this for the first time, but you might be looking at an hour or two of work to get your appeal done and in. And the most amount of it's going to be is just getting your statement done and looking for things that were wrong.
Well, the same person asks, what states don't have reconsideration as a step?
Yeah, there's a list down here on this page, actually. California, but I think there's now parts of California that do. But California's listed: Colorado, Louisiana, New Hampshire, New York, Pennsylvania, Alabama, Michigan, Missouri, and Alaska. Those are the 10. So in these 10 states, you just skip that step. There's no reconsideration. You're just going to file a request for a hearing in front of a judge. And in my opinion, all of the country should do this. It's just it's just another way to slow down the process. Best way that we've been able to help individuals out, in addition to having you watch all of the information, is if you join us or update us as a member at the Disability Digest. And up on the screen right now, you'll see there's our page with the green button. And the reason why this is the best way is that I think we've over 1,500 videos on our YouTube channel, and Philip Price runs a very successful Facebook group that offers general information. But what the difference is with the membership is when you click on the green button and complete your profile, this information allows us to better understand you and your needs and where you're located, what's going on with you, and what you want to get done, so that we can get you the right segments of the disability approval course. In some situations, you can talk to people, and there's consultations available if you want them. And your membership, there's no charge for it. And the reason why there's no charge for it is we have services that we provide. We're in the partnership program with YouTube, where there's ads on some of our videos, and this funds our work, services, sponsors. So your membership, there's no charge for that. So that's definitely the best way that we can help you. Now, if you've been a member for a while and your case status has changed, so for example, let's say you started with us at initial, and then you unfortunately got denied, and you're using the disability approval course. Right in the disability approval course, you can update us in there. That's the best way. But if you can't find it or you lost it, which unfortunately happens, you can just come back to the Disability Digest. You can click the green button again, and you can update us. And we'll be able to see the new information that you have and help you out. Okay, great.